Self-discipline. Self-discipline means self-control, the ability to avoid unhealthy overdoses that can lead to negative consequences. One of the key characteristics of self-discipline is the ability to give up immediate gratifications and pleasure in favor to greater gains and more satisfying results, even if it takes effort and time. It is also the ability to push yourself forward, stay motivated, and take action, regardless of how you're feeling, physically or emotionally. You're showing it when you intentionally chose to pursue something better for yourself, and you do it in spite of factors such as distractions, hard work, or unfavorable odds. Self-discipline also enables you to keep going through the great success despite what others might see as insurmountable odds. It can also improve learning and enhance performance. Studies have shown that students with a high degree of self-discipline retain more knowledge than those without self-discipline. We can develop our self-discipline just by following these steps. First, choose a goal. Then, find your motivation. Then, identify obstacles. Replace old habits and monitor your progress. In self-discipline, we have types. In a classroom, the behavior or discipline should be maintained to run the class effectively so that teaching and learning process can run smoothly. Discipline is maintained to make the positive classroom that have these following characteristics: welcoming and safe for learning, supportive and cooperative, respecting individual, think of others, and expressive. This is one of the first type of discipline, which is the preventative discipline. Preventative discipline is about establishing expectations, guidelines, and classroom rules for behavior during the first days of lesson in order to proactively prevent disruptions. As the name suggests, it focuses on the preventive measures or rules have been set so that discipline can be maintained and to avoid bad behaviors of students. Like what they say, prevention is better than cure. We can say that the person has a preventive discipline when he or she is following his or her daily routine. Second type of discipline is the supportive discipline. On the other hand, of course, in the case of transgression, it is usually a verbal warning or a suggestion for the correction of behavior. It is used to prevent minor behaviors that can become big. We use verbal commands such as sit down, behave yourself, etc. These may be small reminders that if they do not stop here, corrective measures can be used. We can say that it is a supportive discipline when a person is supporting someone as much as they can by modifying their teaching methodologies and models when necessary. The last type of discipline is the corrective discipline. Corrective discipline comes into play when a student has failed to change his or her behavior after repeated attempts at supportive discipline. It mostly refers to the consequences delivered following infraction. As the name suggests, that these are last methods to make the discipline or correct their behavior through punishment and strict actions. These are used for serious violation of rules by anybody. stages of discipline. First one is the verbal or written warning. Other than simply disregarding the behavior altogether, the most lenient form of discipline most employers use is a warning. A verbal warning is the least severe. A written warning documents the incident and carries more weight, particularly if it goes into a personal file. Some companies use escalation in warnings, for example, verbal, written, second written, and final. The second stage of discipline is the probation. After warnings haven't had an effect, employers often place employees on some form of probation. In the simplest form, this can almost be seen as another type of final warning. Some employers attach punishment to the probation such as reduction in pay or mandatory retraining. The third one is suspension. Suspension is the temporary removal of the employee from his or her job. This could be with or without pay, but obviously sends a much stronger message if it's unpaid. The difference between suspension and termination is that it has assumed that the employee will return to work after his or her suspension period has ended. Lastly, the termination. This is the last resort. Sometimes disciplinary matters become so unworkable that it's best for the employee and employer to part ways. Employers are generally as adverse to employee discipline as employees are themselves. It's uncomfortable to discipline another adult in a professional setting, but when it needs to be done, knowing that disciplinary tools are available can make the task easier. Of course, with any form of employee discipline, keep in mind that employment laws might come into play. So consult with an HR professional or employment law attorney before taking actions that could give rise to liability now or in the future. It's Alpha J. Marsadama speaking, BSMAR E1C. Thank you.